Welcome back, Grief Nation listeners. And today in the house, I have Loria Perez. She's our Bullet for Life Indiana Chief Ambassador. Hello, Lori. How are you?
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing good. What's going on with you? You look so pretty.
Oh, well, thank you. It's so
Thank you. Thank you.
this is a Thank God It's Friday day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so glad to have you on the show. And I'm so glad to talk about this great initiative that we're both a part of. Can you go ahead and share your grief journey with us?
Oh wow, that is like a real journey. So my grief journey is definitely a roller coaster. I don't know if people are experienced with a roller coaster ride, but some people get on there and they got their hands up and they're screaming out of joy, and some people are just crying their eyes out the whole ride, and some people are laughing. So I put myself on that roller coaster. I have good and bad days. Unfortunately, I had to bury a son 2 years ago, April 30th, 2017, for gun violence. So that roller coaster, it's like a never ending stop. It won't stop rolling on me.
Yeah.
Um, but then I do have a joyful moment on the roller coaster because that same day, I had a son who was shot as well with his brother, but he survived. So, there goes that emotion of, up one minute and down the next.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm so sorry to hear about your loss, but I'm so grateful to know that you did have a son that survived. And how was that whole night or day or whenever it happened for you? How did you discover this tragedy and what was going on?
I call it a call that I'm glad I didn't miss, for it being a call that I received at 4 a.m. in the morning. So, most people don't hear that phone ring or might turn over on that phone ring, but some got me up and I answered the phone.
Okay.
That's when my son called me for help.
Wow. And just being a bereaved mother, not knowing, tell us about the story because my grief audience wants to know. You're saying at the same time you lost a son, same night, right? That's correct. Same night the shooting happened with the survivor. You lost a son, so same night. So kind of take us through that night for us.
Well, I went to sleep and my kids were home as well. But
Mhm.
my oldest son that passed, he actually had a family. So the girlfriend, the 18-month-old baby. So I guess he got up on daddy duties. So he got up and made a ride to his girlfriend's home and discovered unknown vehicle there. So at this time, he was just trying to see, is everything okay? He made phone calls, no answer. Knocked at the doors, front, back, no answer. So uh, him going to check on them became a real concern at that moment. He actually allowed his brother, who was just a year behind him, to ride with them. So they both, he's in the car waiting while his brother is trying to attempt to get someone to answer the door. So, you know, kids are pretty impatient. So his knocking went from kicking, like kicking a door. So when he kicked the door at one point, I guess the jar opened and he was able to go in the home, only to discover that, he was a part of a love triangle. That's what I call it.
Wow.
And yeah, so I think that's when things got a little heated. I was aware of his love triangle because he was very open about his relationship with me. So, I try to school him on that puppy love. Our first love it's a real love, but it's not genuinely going to be your only love.
Right.
So with the baby involved, I kind of just told him to learn how to be a friend more than a boyfriend, and learn how to co-parent because there's a child, you know, that you guys have to raise. And so I think he understood that and he did very well. But the day that he wanted to walk away, knowing that, this young lady can have whoever she wants, because that's something I taught him too. Are you married to her? The young man that she was um, keeping company was not having it. So he followed him and shot my son 6 times in the back.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh my gosh. So your other son witnessed this, that was with him.
The entire thing, yes.
My goodness. I send so much love and gratitude and light to him, just being a survivor. So how has he been dealing with that?
I see up and down moments. I really feel like the post-traumatic stress is real with him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I try to not force too much healing on him. I want him to heal on his own. I pay attention to the healing, just in case I have to step in on it.
Yeah.
But I think he's doing pretty well because I am trying to lead off an example, of
Yeah.
my own.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's a lot, but I do commend you for being and doing the work that you are so passionate about, and helping other families that are, having this issue that's going on in South Bend. And South Bend is just, every day, isn't it? Every day, all day long, 2 and 3 times a day. The weekend is even worse.
Yeah.
But before, I guess we get kind of all into the statistics about that. Um, how have you been out from since that happened, since that occurred to you?
When it happened, of course I was hurt. I was terrifiedly hurt. I mean, I even got the news in as I say, it was not passionate enough. It was not sympathy enough from, the homicide unit. They could have told me about my son in a more conductive way. I was held in a squad car for 3 hours, not knowing, just trying to get the other one who survived patched up, make sure he's okay.
Yeah.
Chance to do that. I was confined in a squad car the whole time he was being treated. And then, it's a murder. At the time, I didn't know it was a murder. So they do a lot of investigation. So straight from the hospital, we went straight to the Metro Homicide for an interview, to be questioned for our statements. And so another 2-3 hours went by, and then I see my son after he's been interviewed, just looking blue in the face. I'm like, what happened, And then they were just like, oh, we told him that Anthony passed away. And I'm like, well, my Anthony,
Yeah.
And so just like disturbed, like I've been here for 5 to 6 hours with you, from a squad car to your facility. And not once did you guys, try to hydrate me before you gave me this news, or just forewarn me. I was feeling more like a suspect at that moment than a victim,
Mm.
And so I had to get myself together real quick, because that could have,
Yeah.
that could have been some real lemonade right there.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Gosh, Lori, that's just a hard pill to swallow. I mean, losing our boys is just, it's been disheartening, and just trying to get to understand the meaning behind it. But now can you kind of see through now why you've gone through a lot of things that you've gone through, and even having the opportunity to have your own personalized grief journey, and looking back at what happened during that time, and now that you're out helping other families, can you kind of see a bigger picture now?
I definitely see a bigger picture, considering, I'm sorry to say this, but this is not my first roller coaster. I also lost a 9-year-old in 2004,
Oh,
immune deficiencies. So that right there, I was 25, going on 26, and young mom, I
yeah.
kind of, so
Oh,
what I did know, this second journey of my grief or tragic would be not to fall short the way I did the first time around. I definitely wanted to seek God more than to run from him, because I knew that I wouldn't have made it without him.
wow. Now that we've stepped into talking about God and religion, and how did you how did you do well with your first loss of your child and God? Let's talk real about that.
I didn't do well at all. I blamed God, and I turned away from God. And I did a lot of demonic acts, as far as substance abuse, I did a lot of that to cope the pain.
Yeah.
And that didn't make the pain go away. That just kept you in a down place at all
Right.
times.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, trust me, I understand. Um, I think because I was suffering at the time with, I didn't have three losses. I didn't have child loss, but I had lost my father and my sister in a matter of 8 years too before my son passed. And yeah, that coping is definitely something, because you just don't initially know that this is that you should start preparing and healing grief. You just don't, that's not like, it doesn't just jump out of the drop from the sky and say, okay, this is what you need to do. You have to kind of find your way through. And I know, because I was also a sufferer of chronic pain, I'm sure a lot of the medications that I was taking, that was also helping me subside the losses that I was occurring as well, because I'm sure my pain was exasperated just because of the grief and anxiety and just trying to cope with those things. So I commend you from whatever point that you were at, coming back and being able to now help families and do the work. So how did you become a part of Bullets for Life?
I came a part of Bullets for Life. After my son, I say after we made his garden, because he passed over, April 30th, but May 5th we, prepared his garden. That's what I call that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just and I don't call them death certificates. I call them heaven certificates.
Mm.
Um, so I was already preparing myself to carry a light heart. And I didn't realize it until now, when we reflect on it. And I said, wow, carrying a light heart is like super dope. I'm telling you, you don't have room for anything but love when you carry a light heart.
Yeah.
And so with love, things come easily. And I instantly fell in love with Bullets for Life because that was my first time ever trying social media. I had started a movement called J.U.M.P, which means just use me, please. It's really jumping for Jesus, but it's called like just use me, please, Jesus. And I'm on this social media and I'm strolling. And then I'm serious, like my first follower was Bullets for Life.
Oh.
And I'm looking and I'm not learning much about, the Instagram, but she amazed me. And I wanted to know more about her. I never did Facebook, so I never had Facebook either. This is my first social media, Instagram. And I just DM'd her and I just told her, I said, wow, you have a heart of gold. And I just wanted to tell her that. Like, I think what you're doing is awesome. I felt like she was motivating me to want to do something, similar as far as giving and being, open-hearted like that,
Yeah.
compassion for
Mm-hmm.
other people hurting.
Yeah.
And the bond. I mean, she kept in tabs with me and she says, I'm looking at your page, and she says, did you lose someone? And I told her my story. And she says, I'm coming for you. I say, you're coming for me. And then she said, where are you? Are you in Florida? I'm like, no, I'm in Indiana, South Bend, Indiana. She says, well, I'm not coming for you, but I'm sending something to you. And then it,
Oh.
uh, and she asked me, what's my color? And at that time I was like, feeling blue. So I'm like, I want something that's soft blue, something that's going to relax me. And she did just that. I mean, she sent me this awesome bracelet right here.
Oh, so beautiful. Yes.
And so we call this the Jump for Jesus. And she's been helping me right there. So I started escalating on this Instagram, but I kept in tabs with her.
Yeah.
And then of course I'm gonna brag about something that a gift, I love
Yeah.
prizes, gifts. So I started talking about it and people wanted to know more about it. And I just started repping Bullets for Life like I knew her personally. I was claiming her before she claimed me. And, and people were like wanting these bracelets, and I knew of so many survivors, and I'm like, how do I do this? And I just start secretly buying little bracelets here and gifting it to them. And then she's like, you're doing that? No, I'm going to send you more. And I mean, the gift for her just keeps giving.
Yeah.
And then so that I'm saying Bullets for Life, but her name is Susan Kennedy. And she is the founder of Bullets for Life. And she didn't experience a loss of her own, but this losing a life period and these kids that's losing their life, that hurts her. She feels that. And I think that's genuine because there's a lot of people who doesn't know that pain, who never experienced it. But I'm comfortable with her saying, I don't know how you feel. I wouldn't imagine that. I'm comfortable with her saying that. Not too many people can get away with that, but I feel her genuinity and I see what she's out here doing. So
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. Yes, so Susan is absolutely amazing. She,
I love
like you said, has a heart of gold and just so giving. That's I think that's
yeah.
all of our story with her. And so how often are you able to collect materials off the street in South Bend to have for the accessory line that we have?
Okay, so since my journey has been like a roughly 18 months,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'm claiming 2 years. Time goes by fast.
Yeah.
I just been because I do tributes on my page, the Jumping for Jesus page for the people we lose in our community. So
Yeah.
I do a tribute when their anniversary come around of their Passovers, and so I started saying in honor of this person, donate a bullet, save a life,
Yeah.
and I was just throwing it out there. I wanted to see if I can collect a bullet, and when my son's anniversary came around, someone came and gave me 6 bullets. That was my first time collecting
Oh,
bullets. They
yay.
gave me bullets for the 6 bullets he actually took in his back. And I was like, oh my goodness, I was just like, it's on.
Yeah.
That motive right there. And I'm like, I'm going to get 20 bullets and I'm going to mail it to Florida.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she was like, I don't think you can do that. And I'm like, I can't, you know, what with them, but I just kept collecting them. And then at the end of the year, I think we had 68 people who were injured and affected by
Wow.
a bullet. So I
Yeah.
asked, I said, in honor of our survivors, I'm asking for 68 bullets, to basically celebrate that life that didn't get taken.
Mhm.
And start coming in, and I was like, this is unreal,
Yeah.
And I just first they thought I was kind of crazy, like, what you gonna do with these bullets? I'm like, I'm gonna repurpose them to something beautiful,
Right.
and and here I am. I never done it just yet, but I'm claiming things into existence, and
Right.
it really works, Um, and so now I call them supporters or donors. I don't show their faces because I want them to know that it's not about who you are; it's what you just done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the bullet right there speaks for itself. That someone out there really value the fact that a life is worth more than a bullet, and so
Yeah. It,
if I never even did anything with these bullets, it's the fact that I'm getting them off the streets. So
right.
that right is the go
Yeah.
ahead.
That's our mission right there, getting them off the street. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Now, how have you helped families with your initiative? I know also that, and talk about your Reeves and just talk about how much you've been in the community and helping families.
Um, I was always taught from a very young age to treat those the way I want to be treated. And as you heard earlier, I wasn't treated very nice, especially at a time that I needed probably a hug, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Um, so I made a vow to myself that not another person, because I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, will go through what I went through without someone being there for them,
Mm.
someone letting them know that they're loved and just ready to hold them at any given moment. And so it started with me barging into the Metro homicide right here in South Bend. We had, they called it a double shooting. That was my first time I came out in the streets with it. Um, and so we had two fatalities and we had four that was severely injured.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that moment, where those people were going, I'm like, they're going to take them to the hospital. They're going to hurry up and patch them up, take them down to Metro and just interrogate them.
Yeah.
So I ran to the grocery store. I bought some bananas and I bought some donuts and some orange juice. And I took it up to Metro Homicide. They looked at me like, what are you doing here? I said, I know there's some families in there that got woke up at 6 a.m. Some of them haven't used the bathroom. Some of them haven't eaten. I think you need to nutrition them before you get to start, interrogating them. And he looked at me and I was like, and there's some left here and here for you all. I know you guys had a rough night. And he just opened his arms up. He said, come here. I don't understand what kind of person you are. He calls me a different kind of creature. Um, but he told me that was the most nicest thing. No one ever done that. And I told him, I will do
Oh,
this every time you allow me to. I
yeah.
feel like I didn't go in there without being fed, and being loved on before they feel like they're being jumped on. You know, I know they have to do their investigations, but let's love them first before we start getting, getting to our.
Yeah. Wow, Lori.
Yeah.
Gosh. That's
So I love banana,
oh that
banana the phone, so.
yeah, oh gosh, that is so touching. That is like really amazing. And I guess we all have to be affected in our own way to even think to do that for someone else. You know what I'm saying? To even
Yes.
because when people are shocked in denial of what is happening, you're not even thinking of what to do or what do I need. You don't even know what you need at the time because I remember when we first learned that Taiki had passed, everybody kept asking me, well, what do you need? I have no idea. I don't know. I really, you're not hungry. You're not, you just, but it was great that people just started taking the initiative and doing things for me. So that is so amazing that that already what they need because of your own experience. So I mean, God is just good to even have that to be on your heart to want to do for others. That's simply amazing.
Mhm.
How has Bullet for Life changed your life?
It changed my life a whole lot. It made me think about things in a different way because I'm not against the Second Amendment. Let's not get that, you know, mistaken. A lot of people feel like, oh, they're trying to take our bullets, they're trying to take our guns. No, I believe in the Second Amendment, but I believe that there's some gun laws that need to be changed as well. But Bullets for Life showed me that, we may not can get these guns off the streets, and the guns itself can't do nothing without that ammo. So I love that idea, and that right there, it just makes me feel good just to know that they won't do nothing with this one, and I, the fact that you could take a life out of a bullet instead of a bullet taking a life from you. What is not to like about Bullets for Life? That's
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, do you have any statistic information or that's happening in your city or that's happened in the last year?
yes. We've been dealing with a lot. We had, well, I experienced my first, um, woman, a young lady being shot last year, and I just couldn't put my fingers around it. I mean, it's been happening, but since I've been in this movement or been aware of, they
Mm-hmm.
say people really don't understand it until it knocks inside his door. Well, it knocked at my door, and now I'm trying to knock at other people's doors before it knocks at theirs. But that young lady got shot, and the kids came to me, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like I was like feeling very impaired. And so I said, I need to do something with these kids because they were sending me pictures. This is what she looks like. Oh, please come talk to her mom. This and that. And I'm like, okay, let's talk. And I didn't know how to approach the parent because, um, if this is their first time around, I'm speaking from personal experience. They might be very angry, and they're not ready to open up or accept love. So I'm like, I have to be careful with who I'm approaching. So that young lady she's the reason why I started making reefs, and that's kind of like an open door to get to the parent, to hug that parent, to really love that parent, let that parent know, like, look, heart to heart, mother to mother or parent to parent, I'm here with you. I know that pain. You cannot do this alone. Let me at least be your ear. And so when I made that first reef, that's when it started. I'm like, I can open conversations with these parents by presenting them a memorial reef for, of their child. And it's because of these kids. I don't get a picture. It's not a picture I haven't received. And you'd be amazed how many kids know these, the other kids that's being shot. So I was like, they send me the picture, I'm there at the visual. And so I'm trying to see something that you can see. Can you see that? So I make these
Yeah.
wreaths, and that's one right here. This is a young boy. He was just 13 years old. And then I think about him too. I don't put pictures on all of them because this was the doctor. We had a doctor out here that got shot. And I didn't want his wife to get in her moment, so I gave her a butterfly.
Okay. Okay.
So, you do that. So yeah, with I told you earlier, 68 people were injured, but last year it was 98 to 100 that total shootings. And
Wow.
so 60 got affected by a bullet. We had 15 fatalities. So I just I have to think about all that stuff, and numbers are just rising in South Bend. We're a very small little city here. I'm normally from Gary, Indiana. I mean, I'm used to sleeping under my bed and eating on my table in Gary, Indiana. I never thought I would have to consider things like that here in South Bend. But
Wow.
yeah, we're right. And then we're just in 2019. We are looking at 39 people who have been affected by a bullet. 8 people have died. And I know of 2 known suicides right now. And so it's just with the 50 shootings,
Yeah.
halfway in, you know, this is a good time to collect
Hmm.
bullets.
Yeah.
This is not just collecting bullets, it's bringing awareness about, the lives that's been affected from gun violence in our community and with the families, because it just don't affect the family. It
Oh, yeah.
affects the community.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for saying that. Is there any anti-gun violence legislation in your state where your initiative is making a difference? Has something new come about, or do you know of any information that your local government is trying to help with the initiative? Tell us about that.
Number one, Indiana did not have a hate crime, and as of now, I don't think it's concrete just yet, and that is so sad that we don't have a hate crime and there's so much hate going on.
Hmm.
So we do have our local chapters like Mom Demand Action in every town that is getting on our legislators and trying to enforce that if we can't get nothing else, let's get a hate crime. Everyone else has it, and they can reconcile and help get some of these people off the streets that's actually um, getting away with these murders and shootings. I mean,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't win. My son's murderer was acquitted. I'm sorry, and that you think that I would be just pulling my hair out, but I just didn't understand. They only gave it 3 options. They said it's either murder, attempted murder, or recklessness, and no one seemed fit for any nor 3. But it was all 3, and instead of me beating myself up and being mad at the world, I just have to tell the world that, and maybe there's something that we can do about that. And I think the number one thing would be to add a hate crime here in Indiana.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry, Lori. Um, but I know that your fight is continuing to make sure other families don't have to go through what you had to experience.
Yes, and I'm
What's do you know what's next in the political arena there? I know that, so I'm sure it's probably trying to get the hate crime there. Is that a lot of talks about that on the agendas there?
they have brought it to an attention. It's at a minimum right now. It's more for like the gender and the religious part, but I
Okay.
think it's overall in general just hate crime. If it was intentional, it
Yeah.
was some bias. I think they just need to regulate it just a little bit more
Yeah.
and be more reform gun laws. That's just throughout the world. You
Yeah.
know,
Absolutely.
big old army missiles. I don't even know what they call rifles,
Yeah.
AKs, whatever they are. What do we need those for here?
Yeah.
That's not protection. That's like something that you were waiting for war with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the confusion with me with gun control laws, and also if we go back to the act back in 1968, it talks about the military. Well, the military is the military, so and having the right to bear arms with the military, it's what the Constitution reads. And it also as far as certain groups and individuals, but originally it was for milita and for slave owners to also keep slaves enslaved. So that was the original, why the original act was created. But we have long since, been dealing with that, and we're past that point. It's a whole different generation. It's a whole different, it's, I think some of our constitution should be updated to the times now. Yeah, it's pretty sad that we're still having this conversation, and there's not much going on to help us with common sense gun violence, common sense gun law, excuse me.
Yes.
But I'm really in this fight and prayer with you that we can have some of those things to change. What are some of the programs you provide through Bullets for Life for Indiana?
Well, although the programs are not like exactly in progress, it is happening this fall.
Okay.
I've been reaching out to the schools. I've been doing a lot of just pop-ups and just showing my face and getting them, loving on them and making them eager to learn more about us. So when we do start, it will definitely be pop-up shops, just us coming there with full armor, the mirror of life, the accessories, the bullets, and just showing them the making of it. And then we'll do a pop and heal. I want to do pop and heal with people who are survivors or are going through a loss. I think that would be a significant therapy for them. And then also, I can't wait to do the I'm gonna call it, I think they call it no bully zone, but I'm gonna call it no bullet zone. And that's when I'll get the kids together and I'll let them create their own bracelet, and we'll name it and we'll try to get, it out there on the market as well.
Yeah, and you do a lot with the kids. So what is the round table discussion, or just you being in the room and you coming in with Bullets for Life? What is that discussion like? What do you hear from the kids?
When I come there, I want to hear from them. I want to talk to them. I want them to talk to me. I don't want to talk to them.
Yeah,
So,
what are they saying?
and I look at them and I'm like, so, you knew so and so. He went to the school. Can anybody collaborate? Can anybody tell me about them? And that right there, they're talking the whole time. And I
Yeah.
just want to listen, reflect off that pain. I want to hear, what goes on through their hearts, because they are the ones that get left out. It's always poor mama, poor mama. But what about the friends and the siblings?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because we know, you and I both know siblings do struggle from the
Yes.
loss of their, yeah.
I think once we know of a family member and they're in that school, I think we should reach out to them in a unity so they'll know that, this is not, you're not alone in this. So
Yeah.
they've been a lot. They've been rapping, they've been coming up with stuff. They do pamphlets for me and flyers for our marches and stuff. So anything I do, I know I can do it, but I give it to them because I want their hands in it.
Yeah, they're
And
just
then
as
that
important to be involved, right?
come out because they know they're like, I did that flyer, I did that pamphlet. I'm like, you rocked, you know what I mean? And so they'll be looking at me, how do you get all these kids? It's all in the love. I
Yeah.
just love them, you know?
Yeah.
I just
Gosh, you're amazing. You are so amazing. So how does donation helps for Bullets for Life?
oh, donations can go a long way in a good way. But most importantly, donate a bullet.
Yeah,
You know, that one bullet
right.
it will save a life. That one bullet changing lives, and that's one less bullet that someone can be affected by. So when it comes to donations, I can't push it enough to say donate, donate, donate a bullet to save a life. But then, we also need helpings with, the accessories of after we get these bullets. How are we going to make these bracelets? So
Yeah,
there's things like that. And people want you at their vendings. They want you to set up a vending table. It might be some fees for that.
yeah.
And be able to go out into our other chapters and support our other Bullet for Life family. We want to be able to be flexible enough to be there for that, physical support.
Absolutely. And as well as your reefs and everything. All of that type stuff too. I'm sure, like all of our other chief ambassadors, a lot of this comes out of our pocket, what we're doing. And we want to continue in our efforts, but we definitely want to support, and we're definitely looking for um, grants and other fundings that can help with, the Bullet for Life initiative as a whole. So all of those things that you said, bullets and monetary donations is very welcomed. We'll make sure we tag all of your information so people will know how to contact you for supporting you there in Indiana. Um, How helpful has the media and the press have been with moving your initiative in Indiana there?
You guys, if you Google me, you will see how the media is just showing love to me. I can't go to work without it being something going on, and they just pop up at my job. 3 minutes, 3 minutes. I just want your say so. And I'm like, people are tired of seeing me on the news. But I started to just embrace it, and the kids be like, they call me Mama Bird. Mama
Uh-huh.
Bird, we seen you in the news. I'm like, yeah, and I'm just letting them know, I'm like, this fight is a forever fight. I take it personal. And it's not about my son anymore. It's about all of us right here. I'm
Yes.
repping for my community. I'm letting them know that if they hurt, I'm hurting all over again.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, such a strong sister. Explain your volunteer program and how others can help.
The volunteer program, I have a lot of people who want to volunteer because, I've been mumbling the word about Bullets for Life, and now I can say Bullets for Life, Indiana, thank
Yeah.
you. So I have a lot of people who are ready, but my biggest volunteer right now is my sheriff department. And I'm just going to work with him right now and see exactly where this is going to take us.
Okay. Okay. But if they, and like I said, we'll tag your information just in case if they want, just to get,
That's
so you can
just the
build
city.
a list.
Yeah, because we can. I can always take volunteers canvassing the city to get our flyers out to let them
Okay.
know that Bullet
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
is here in our city. Because
Yeah.
sometimes you gotta go door to door. You just can't expect it to just get word of mouth. But
Right.
people are initiative, knocking on that door, having a personal conversation. That right there is building a community unity right there.
Absolutely. Oh, you are amazing. Okay. So what's next for Bullets for Life in Indiana there? What's next? What's on your mind as far as how to spread more of the awareness or just something that you're working on?
Billboards and commercials. I want a bullet drive here in my city.
Yeah. Yeah.
My own little station. I don't care if it's just like one of those portables. We
Yeah.
could just add it on in. I'm they dream big or go home.
Yeah.
Yes. But definitely I would love to see a billboard and just the whole Bullet for Life family on there, and they'll know that, we're just not talking about this in Indiana. It's been talked around all around the globe. Have you heard? And I want it on the billboard. Yes.
Right, right, absolutely. So, what is your, do you have a favorite quote or something that you would like to leave us with to share, something that's, really heartfelt to you so that you can share with our Grief Nation listeners?
Yes. I wear this bracelet right here, and it has Luke 6:23 on there, and on the other side it has Jump for Jesus. So Luke 6:23 says, "Rejoice in that day and leap for joy, because great is in your reward in heaven, for that is how their ancestors treated their prophets." And so a lot of people are like, what does that mean? So what it means to me is I couldn't let my boy's shooting, cause me pain or harm. I had to find some good in it. And so I began to rejoice to God, thanking Him for at that moment, I didn't have to weep, for my sons are not murderers. So that right
Wow.
there, that makes me rejoice. Yes, I lost a son through gun violence.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a son. But you know what? Not one of them had a gun or pulled a trigger or tried to kill anyone. So that right there is my biggest victory. I can
Yeah.
and keep my head up high because, that is the first commandment. Thou shalt not kill. And
Wow.
so I rejoice.
Yeah. Oh wow,
I
Lori. I love that you've left us with that and to hear from you about how you feel about that. I always ask my guests to leave us with something, and that's so heartfelt and very I felt that in my heart when you were explaining and saying, what it means to you. And oh, sister, I just commend you for all that you've gone through and your fight in this. Um, before I let you go, I want you to share your social media platforms. Let us know how we can contact you and how we can help and support.
Yes, so you can find me at Bullets for Life Indiana. That's on Instagram. So it's bullets underscore for underscore life underscore Indiana underscore. Love the underscores.
Right.
Or you can email me at bulletsforlifeindiana@gmail.com. So everything is Bullets for Life. You want to donate, cash at me, Bullets for Life Indiana.
Okay, absolutely. And you're also at Jump for Jesus as
I'm on Instagram as Jumping for Jesus as
Jumping,
well.
okay, Jumping for Jesus. Yes, because I know sometimes I want to make sure that we know all of your outlets, because some things get posted some places. So I just want to make sure they know anywhere they need to reach you. You know, sometimes Jumping for Jesus, people see that and they'll definitely, you know, they want to know what's that about, you know, as well as, you know, Bullets for Life. But we want to be able to reach everyone, as many people as we can, on how many ever outlets that we have. So before I let you go, what has your attention where you're serving in your community that you would like to see change, or you would like to bring further awareness to?
It's just too many kids are dying. I mean, a lot of young ladies, you know, we're having a lot of domestic disputes that shouldn't end in violence, you know. And I just think about all that. And my main focus right now is to try to reach out to the youth and understand that hurt that they're going through. I mean, hurt people hurt people. And if
Yeah.
we avoid, if we shy off that or try to say we're afraid of them, then we're going to continue to have hurt people. So I'm just trying to set up an example that I'm not retaliating, I'm reconciling, and they can join me with it. You know, that's another thing that JUMP means. Join us making progress. So I just don't want these kids to keep killing each other. And I don't want us to keep having a gap in that generation.
Yeah.
And them leaving their babies behind, or not even leaving a legacy behind, you know. It's
Yeah.
all about that we are trying to force to be these leaders that they are.
Wow. Thank you so much. You just gave me chills. Thank you so much, Lori, for coming on Grief Talk and giving your story, telling us your mission, and talking to us more about Bullets for Life. We definitely had, well, Susan Kennedy definitely had something when God gave her that in her heart. Like you said, just I commend her for not being personally affected, but just having the heart to want to do this for so many people that are grieving and that are going through what you and I have experienced in our own right, individual. You know, our situations were very different, but still the same. We lost, but we fight a new fight every day, just trying to help others. And I just so thank you for being the woman of God who you are, and helping us. You just, what you've shared with me today just taught me so much about how to humble myself even more to help others. Not that I wasn't already doing it, but you've shed so much light into where else I could be, you know, at the precinct, at the hospital, you know what I'm saying? It's just with so much that we all carry. And I know we're all here to do our own thing. Like mine is grief. Yours is still grief, but we all are reaching them in our own manner, but it's still so much to do. So I know that you have a team in Indiana and I have a team in Atlanta. I need to be able to have my foot soldiers still doing in that, you know, working that same venue or event or hospital or police department, just so that people know that we're here to support them. And I
Yes.
thank you so much for coming on the show and having the opportunity to just give so much of yourself to us today.
Thank you. And I thank the Grief Nation as well for listening.
Oh, thank you so much. So, Grief Nation listeners, there you have it. We've talked to Lori, excuse me. Grief Nation listeners, thank you so much for listening. We have Loria Perez from Bullets for Life, Indiana. She's our chief ambassador. Thank you so much for coming. Yes, thank you so much for coming. Talk to you soon, my sister.
Thank you.